The only thing worse than drinking and driving is perhaps drinking and flying. Alcohol affects your judgment, reasoning, and basic hand-eye coordination. But oh, not if you're this guy, Tommy Fitzpatrick. Tommy Fitzpatrick was born in 1930 in the Washington Heights section of New York City. This guy lied about his age so he could serve in the Marine Corps during World War II, and later joined the U.S. Army in 1949 to serve during the Korean War, where he received the Silver Star and Purple Heart. After the war, he returned to his home in New Jersey and became a union steam fitter, while working on the side as an airplane mechanic, while also taking flight lessons at Teterboro School of Aeronautics. Tommy loved going back to the old neighborhood of Washington Heights to have a drink and to catch up with old friends. On the night of September 29th in 1956, in a corner bar called Joe's on 191st and St. Nicholas Ave, someone bet Tommy that he couldn't travel from New Jersey to New York City in 15 minutes. An odd bet indeed, and we're still not sure about the circumstances that brought on this bet, but Tommy accepted the challenge and left the bar. A short time later, a small red and white Cessna 140 with a 32-foot wingspan came flying down St. Nicholas Avenue, dodging parked cars and townhouses, and made a smooth landing right on St. Nicholas Avenue near 191st. The pilot taxied the plane right up to the bar, and sure enough, Tommy Fitzpatrick hops out of the plane, enters the bar for one last drink before last call, and of course to collect his winnings from his bet. Tommy was arrested, but the plane's owner refused to press charges, and he ended up with just a $100 fine and a 6-month suspension of his pilot license. The sergeant of the Police Aviation Bureau said that the landing was a 100,000 to 1 shot. In fact, almost impossible. A miraculous feat indeed, and hard to believe if you hadn't seen it with your own 2 eyes. Well, about 2 years later, Tommy was sitting in the bar again in Washington Heights and told the story to a fellow bar patron who just refused to believe him. So what did Tommy do? Of course, he left the bar, went to Teterboro Airport, stole a plane, and did it again. A motorist driving down St. Nicholas Avenue said the plane flew inches over the top of his car and made a perfect landing right in front of him. He then said the pilot got out and ran off into the night. The police, of course, knew this could only be one guy, and they caught up with Tommy Fitzpatrick. At first, he denied it. Must have been a copycat, man. But he would later confess when witnesses identified him and his fingerprints matched those in the plane cockpit. Tommy told the judge, "It's that lousy drink that keeps getting me into trouble." But this time, the judge was not as lenient. He said, "In spite of the miraculous landings and your service to this country, you will not make an airstrip out of New York City streets." He was sentenced to 6 months in jail. Tommy never stole a plane again. In fact, he went on to have 3 kids, continued to work as a steam fitter, and was an active and respected member of his community. He died in 2009 at the age of 79. And as for Joe's Bar, well, it's long gone. But Tommy's legendary landings live on in lore in this neighborhood. And they've even named a drink after him called the Late Night Flight. Only in New York City.